Joe Kissell introduces Take Control Premium. This is MacVoices. This edition of MacVoices is supported by MacVoices Live, our weekly live panel discussion of what is going on in the Apple space, as well as the larger tech world, and how it is impacting you. Join us live at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, or whatever time that is wherever you are, at youtube.com/MacVoicesTV, and participate in the chat, or catch the edited and segmented versions of the show on the regular MacVoices channels and feeds. Welcome to MacVoices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, we have Joe Kissell back with us this time around. I'm delighted to talk to Joe as always. This time, however, we're not going to talk about a new Take Control book or a revision to a Take Control book, but we are going to talk about something Take Control related. Joe, it's great to have you as always.
Thank you for inviting me.
Joe, I don't remember the last time. I think the last time we talked about anything Take Control related that was not a book was probably the launch of the website or a revision to the website. But now we have something brand new that you've never done before.
Yes. And, as you said that, like something brand new that you've never done before, it sounds to me like, oh, well, he took up, skateboarding or something. And the first thing he did was fall and break all of his bones, or like, it sounds like I've just tried something weird and risky and crashed a little bit. And that's not completely wrong, but
oh, okay. This was a somewhat inauspicious start, but let's just go for it.
No, like it's all good. I like doing this because when people get an email from me or they come to our site, it's like, well, a company's trying to sell me books, and it's really hard to distinguish like our little company, our website, from some big faceless corporate entity that really is just trying to make shareholders happy. And so it's really easy to get into like the habit or the impulse to say like, they're all evil, they're all out to get me, they're all out to scam me. Cause okay, yeah, a lot of them really, really are. I mean, we're not. And so I like to do this because I want for our customers, our readers, to see me as an actual human being, just talking about the good and the bad and the weird, and saying, hey, we're all in this together, guys, and we really are trying to help.
It sounds similar to what I do with MacVoices. That I can't compete with the big budget networks and productions, but I'd like to think that we both serve a portion of the audience that appreciates what we do.
Right on. So, as you say, we're not talking about a new book or an update today. We're talking about a new thing. Put my helmet on and my knee pads, all this stuff. And the new thing is called Take Control Premium. It is a discount program. We were inspired by Amazon Prime, or let's say an earlier iteration of Amazon Prime. I mean, the original idea was that you would pay Amazon some money, and then for the next year, you would get either free or discounted shipping. So you weren't paying for a thing, you were paying for the opportunity to save money during the year. And if you bought a lot of stuff from Amazon, then you would save a lot of money. And if you hardly bought anything from Amazon, then it might not be worth it to you. Now, over time, Amazon added more features to Prime, so that's cool. But that was sort of the inspiration for our discount program. It's a thing that you buy. It's a thing that you pay for. You don't have to do it. It's totally optional. But if you do buy it, then for 1 year, everything you buy from us is half price. It's that simple. You pay us $14.99, the cost of one book. And once you pay that for the next year, and including everything in the same order as Take Control Premium, half off. If a book normally costs $14.99, it's $7.50. If it's a different price, whatever it is, it's half of that. If we have an upgrade, like, oh, we moved this book from the first edition to the second edition, and let's just say, for example, that this particular new edition would normally cost $5 as an upgrade. Well, for you, only $2.50. And again, our upgrade prices vary due to reasons, but that's basically in the smallest possible nutshell. You pay us $15, get everything half price for a year.
Okay, so that sounds like a deal to me, because I think so highly of Take Control books and what they deliver and how they deliver it. So I guess that was the what. Let's talk about the how. How do I go about taking advantage of this? Because as I understand it, it's not exactly like just signing up for Amazon Prime.
That's right. I originally thought it would be. I originally thought this would be just another product on our website. You want it, you put it in your cart, you check out, that's the end of it. Well, we use a company called Paddle as our reseller, which is to say that when you go to our site, you put stuff in your cart and you check out, we then seamlessly send you over to Paddle. They take your money and then they say, all right, we got their money. And then we send you your stuff. And the reason we use this company, we've used other companies in the past. Well, the reason we use them is that all over the world, various amounts of taxes are due on various things. Some jurisdictions tax ebooks, some do not. Of those that do, they tax them at different rates. And so like in the United States, some states have no sales tax. Some states have sales tax, but not for ebooks. Some states do have a sales tax for ebooks. Some states, they'll say, well, you have to pay a tax, but only if you have this amount of sales in our state over the course of a year. And there's all these very, very, complex different rules. And it's not just the United States, across Canada, in the European Union, Australia, New Zealand, like all the different places where we sell books, various rules apply. And so as a company selling something, what all these jurisdictions expect you to do is to register with them and keep track of your purchases, collect whatever taxes due, hold on to it, and then depending, it might be once a month or twice a year or once a quarter, you fill out a form saying, these were our sales in your area for this period of time, and here's the money we owe you for taxes. Well, we are effectively a one-person operation here, and just doing all that tax accounting would take me like a week every month. It's too much. I can't do it. So that's why we use another company to handle our payments, because they deal with all the messy tax stuff for us, and that saves my sanity. So you don't really buy from us, you really buy from them, but you get to them from our site. Now, I say all this because since they are the company that is technically selling you the stuff, we have to abide by their rules as to what we can sell and what we can't sell. So before I started this whole, development of Take Control Premium, I sent them an email. I'm like, well, this is what we're planning on doing. Just want to check. It doesn't seem like this does anything that's on your forbidden list. But it also doesn't exactly match anything that's on your allowed list. So just want to double check, want to make sure you're cool with this, because I don't want to get in trouble with the people that, are funneling all of our money to us. And Paddle came back and said, yeah, actually, no, you can't do that. And they sort of walked me through their business reasoning, and I don't 100% agree with their logic, but that doesn't matter because they make the rules. So I said, well, that's disappointing. What if we did it this way? And they came back and they're like, no, you can't do it that way either. I'm like, What if we did it this way? And they came back and they said, no, you can't do it that way either. I'm like, okay, one last try. What if we did it this really weird way? And they're like, huh, we're going to have to think about that, talk to our legal people, mull it over. Like, okay. So I waited and waited and waited. Finally, they got back to me and they're like, yes, you can do it that way. And I'm like, yay, that way is going to really suck. So the long and short of it is, you can buy this thing from us, but only as an add-on to a book. You can't just come to our site and buy Take Control Premium and nothing else and check out. You can't do that. That is not allowed. I would allow it if I had the choice. I don't have the choice. So instead, it has to be literally an add-on to the book. So when you pay them money, you get a book or more than one book or whatever, and then you also get this other benefit. So it's less straightforward than I would have preferred, but we are doing what we have to do to be able to offer this. So when you go to our site, you go to a page like, I'm looking at whatever, take control of, your Apple account or something. And there has always been like here's the price, and there's a little add to cart button. So now there's two buttons. There's the price, add to cart, or there's the price of the book plus the cost of Take Control Premium. Add that to your cart. So you click the other add to cart button, and then both things get into your cart. Now, there are actually other ways to go about this. If you've already put some books in your cart and you're on the cart page or you're getting ready to check out, there will be a little thing there saying, hey, would you like to add Take Control Premium to this? Click here. We'll add it right now because we can, because it's an add-on, because you already got books. And if you haven't added it to your cart, but you've added enough other things to your cart that we know that it would save you money on that purchase if you bought Take Control Premium 2, then when you click the checkout button, we pop up another thing saying, now, just telling you, you could save money on this purchase if you added this. Because think about it, the cost of 3 books is, sorry, I can't math in real time, $44 or something. And but if you order Take Control Premium for $15, you order 3 books, but they're now half off. So the combined cost of Take Control Premium and the 3 books turns out to be 37 something. Sorry, I could look it up, but anyway, you save $5 or something on that order. Plus, it's not just that you're saving money on that order, but for the next year, everything you buy from us, half off. So that's how you do it. And I have been very, in the email that I sent out and on the page where it talks about this, I've been very upfront about the fact that I'm sorry, it's a little bit weird, it's a little bit awkward, and we're just doing this because we're required to. But at the same time, I can't entirely disagree with that logic, because if somebody buys Take Control Premium now, but then they're like, I don't actually need any books right now. Maybe I need some books in 3 months. So 3 months go by, they buy some books. And then a year rolls around, they're like, oh, my premium discount is about to expire. I could buy it again. But if I had that extra 3 months now at the end, then I could have saved that money on some new books that came out then. So by not letting you buy it until you're actually ready to use it, we make sure that it is available to you for as long as possible.
Okay. So let me make sure I get this one straight. So if I go in right now, and I'm gonna cheat and make the math easy for myself, right. And I order a Take Control book that is $10.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Okay. $10. So much for making the math easy. $10. Yeah. And I sign up for Take Control Premium. then I get that book for $5,
$5,
but I
and
also
you
am
will
paying
pay
the
us a
15.
total. Yes, so you'll pay us in that example. You'll pay us a total of $20,
Okay.
for which you get both the book that would normally be $10 and Take Control Premium. And you might be thinking, well, sounds like I'm paying twice as much for that $10 book. But the point is not that specific, that one thing that you're buying now. The point is any books that you buy later on. And I really deliberately wanted to get this done before we start rolling out our fall updates, because we're going to have Take Control of Tahoe. We're going to have Take Control of iOS 26 and iPadOS 26. We're going to have updates to, a long list of books, like paid upgrades to new editions, because so much is changing. And of course, there will be more new books coming after that. So I wanted to make sure that before we have this like glut of new books that people might be interested in buying, they especially might be interested in buying several of them at once, that we had this discount program available in place. So it's optional. If you don't dig it, ignore it. It's all good. If you want it, take advantage of it. There are a few gotchas, but
Okay.
that's the basics for the moment.
Okay. So first of all, I want to say thank you for the explanation of the whole taxation thing, because as someone who doesn't sell anything online like a Take Control book, yes, it's obvious, but it's something you don't think about. And I bet you 80, 90, 95% of the audience really don't think about, the hoops you have to jump through because you are selling in so many different places because, hey, it's the internet. So that makes perfect sense. I respect the people at Paddle because between the two of you, you figured out a workaround to a system that it sounds like they probably don't like and you probably don't like either, but it's the system. So
look, I get it. They work with many merchants. Most of them are selling software. Some of them are selling, cloud services or whatever. But it is an area that is, ripe for abuse, and they don't want to have complaints from their customers. They don't want to have, chargebacks on credit cards. They don't want to have they want to make sure they don't get any legal trouble. And so because I'm sure they have experienced some problems in the past, they kind of build these fences around what they allow. And I mean, from a business point of view, I can't disagree with that. You have to protect your business. So okay, but it does make things a little more complicated for those of us just trying to do the right thing.
yeah, and at the end of the day, that's exactly what you're trying to do. You're trying to comply with the law and make your customers happy, or as happy as you can make them under the circumstances. So that's it.
Yeah.
You mentioned gotchas. Should I bring that up, or is it something that people? Maybe we can save you some emails, Joe, if you want to elaborate on some of the gotchas.
So, first little gotcha or whatever has to do with a discount that we have always offered in the past, even long before I was running Take Control, called Build Your Own Bundle. And Build Your Own Bundle worked like this: you put 3 full price books in your cart, like not discounted upgrades, not something you have a coupon for, whatever, but 3 full price books. And the shopping cart page says, oh, we are automatically applying a 30% discount to those. So we have stopped offering that. And I have to say that has always been a very popular thing. People have loved being able to buy 3 books and save 30%. The problem is that our logic for, the point at which Take Control Premium saves you money also happens to be 3 books. And trying to display different messages, like, well, you could either put 3 books in your cart and do this, or you could do this and do this. And it just like technically it got to be overwhelming, and visually, like what you would see and all the different decisions you would have to make just got to be crazy. So I'm like, you know what? I think Take Control Premium is ultimately the better deal. It may not save you as much money on any one specific purchase, but it'll definitely save you money over time. So we took away the build your own bundle discount. I've already had a couple of people express some unhappiness about that. And look, I understand. I really, honestly, I understand. And I'm sorry. We have to make compromises. That was one of them. A second thing that I think people might have some opinions about is that for as long as we continue offering Take Control Premium, we are not going to have any more store-wide 50% off sales. Now, I need to clarify that a little bit. I'm not saying we'll never have sales again. We'll have sales. Might be sales on just specific items, or sales for less than 50% off. Like we often have Pi Day sales, save 31.4%, something like that. We'll do things like that. But what we've done usually once or twice a year, sometimes like for Black Friday or something, is say, well, just everything is half off for however long, a week or two. And so we're not going to do that anymore. If we offer something at half off or greater, it will be just a very specific thing. And if we offer a sale on everything, that'll be for a smaller amount. And that's because those two concepts, again, conflict with each other. And we would rather have people be able to save 50% all the time than only during a certain week. And this gets back to kind of the reasoning that prompted me to even think up this idea in the first place. And it's kind of like this. When we would have a big sale, customers love it. Customers absolutely adore sales. I say there's a sale and just people descend on our site and they buy in great numbers and it's fantastic. And our sales go way up, and everybody digs it because even though an individual book is selling for less, we're selling much more than twice as many as we would have otherwise. So everybody, all the authors' royalties go up. So it's a win-win. The problem with that is twofold. One problem is that over the course of a year, our income looks like this. You know, we have these big peaks when there's a sale, and then these long, low periods, you know, the deep and wide valleys. And that's really, really, really not great for our cash flow. It's not great for our authors. And it also makes me, apart from like we're not getting as much money or as soon, it really makes me sad for our customers, because I can't tell you how many times somebody is like, I've mentioned a book and somebody's like, I'll wait till the next sale. I'm like, okay, so first of all, really, I mean, our books are pretty reasonably priced in, you know, just normally full price, I think is a totally good deal. But you're basically saying, I don't value your work enough to pay you full price. I think it's worth only half that. So I would rather wait. That feels not so great. But from the customer's point of view, I also feel really sad for them, because, we have a book about a thing that you want to do, and here's this useful information that you could make use of right now. This could improve your life right now, but you can't have the information right now because you're not willing to buy it until there's a sale. So I'm sad for you, because you have to wait an unknown amount of time before you can buy this thing. So I thought, well, you know, my first thought was kind of naively, well, what if we just put everything on sale all the time. What if what if we just slashed all our prices in half? But the problem with that is the logic doesn't work. If we slashed all of our prices in half, people would still wait for sales. It's just like a psychological thing. No matter what the full price is, you don't want to pay full price. And it's not like by cutting our prices in half, we could magically sustain those high sales rates all through the year. That's just not how things work. So I'm like, okay, well, we can't do that, but I really would like people to be able to save 50% all the time and get whatever books they need as soon as they get them. So how could I do that? And I'm like, well, what if I charge them to do this? And I know, like, it seems a little odd that you are paying money to save money. But the thing is, if you have paid for something, even if you have paid a really small token amount like $15, you, again, because we're playing with psychology here, you are going to be motivated to get your money's worth. So over the course of the year, the more books you buy, the more money you save. And we'll be able to tell you after a year, well, during this year, you saved $53 or whatever it turns out to be by using Take Control Premium. And so the fact that I can now say, well, since this is only half price for you, Take Control Premium member, you should really continue saving money by buying this thing. And when your subscription, sorry, not a subscription, I have to unhear that bad word. It's not a subscription. We're going to say a thing about that in a second. But when your membership expires, like just before it does, I'm going to say kind of like, hey, last chance to save money before you have to pay me again. But you don't have to pay me again. So I said the bad word and I apologize. It's not a subscription. It is not a subscription. Is it a subscription? No, it isn't. So we, Take Control Books, do not store your payment information. Paddle, our reseller, does not store your payment information. When that year is up, we'll send you a reminder saying, this is about to end. And if you want to buy it again, you're welcome to do that. But it does not automatically renew. Can't be made to automatically renew. Every 1 year membership is a standalone thing. If you get to the end of the year and you're like, that was fine, but I just don't think it's going to be worth it for me for another year, or maybe it will be, but not for 6 months. Great. You let it go. And when it becomes, if and when it becomes useful to you again, then you pay for it again. Because look, we've had this discussion about other things. Everybody hates subscriptions. And we don't want to do something that we ourselves would hate, but, sure, we do like the idea of recurring revenue. Don't know how much of that we'll get from this, but we're really asking for money to psychologically induce you to buy more books. And I'm not gonna like apologize for that. We are in the business of selling books. That's how we, pay for food and electricity, and we benefit when we sell more books. So we're going to try to sell more books. So if I have to, quite openly, quite very, very openly and deliberately saying, I'm making you pay this money. I'm inviting you to pay this money to, so that you will have this feeling that you want to buy more books and save even more. I'm totally cool with that. I'm trying to push those buttons for you gently and transparently. And if somebody paid us the $15 and other than whatever they bought at the same time, they didn't buy anything else over the next year, well, I guess some of that money would just go in our pockets. And thank you, because that does help us to eat. But we're absolutely not planning to get rich on this. Nobody in the take control world is in any danger of ever becoming rich. Uh, but any extra money that we would earn on this would certainly go toward supporting our site. But really, part of that fee is counteracting the amount of money that we're going to lose on each of your half price sales. So, we're just going to see how it goes.
So this strikes me as almost more of a, I know that you don't like the S word, and we're not going to get into a discussion of that because that, there be dragons. But
Yeah.
This is more of a membership kind of thing. That
it is. It is exactly a membership. Yeah.
Yeah. And so,
and I should, as we are launching this, the only benefit to membership is saving money on ebooks. Now, that's not to say that there couldn't be other benefits we add in the future. In fact, one person wrote to me and said, well, I am already a Tidbits member, and as a Tidbits member, I get to save 30% on your books already. So this doesn't seem like as good of a deal to me because I'm already saving 30%, and now you're saying I could pay you money to save 50%. And I'm like, yeah, you're absolutely right. It's not as good a deal for someone who is, as an example, a Tidbits member. I mean, we'd love it if you joined anyway, because again, that supports our worthy cause. But he said, but if you added some benefit for that same $15 a year, I might consider it. And his suggestion was like maybe once a quarter, an author gives like a talk over Zoom, how to do something. We can be interactive and so forth. I'm like, well, that's a good idea. We've thought about doing stuff like that. We have some other ideas for stuff we could potentially do that would add value to you, and then maybe induce even more people to sign up and make those who have signed up feel better about their purchase. So we're absolutely thinking about that, and what we do and what form it takes and when will depend on the level of interest, depend on what kind of feedback we have and so forth. But we would like for this membership to really be a membership and make you feel like you're a member of something, not just a person who has a discount on stuff. So we're actively thinking about that.
I really appreciate the fact that you've gone into trying to talk about the psychology of this, because there are psychology aspects to all of these things. I'm looking at a service right now that will enhance MacVoices, and I can sign up on a per month basis, or I can sign up for a year basis and get a discount. Okay, if I really feel strongly about this, I love that particular model, and I sort of get it with Take Control too, because I can buy a book at my first Take Control book at a regular price and find out, hey, I really like the author, I really like the format, I'm going to sign up for this deal. Same thing with the service I'm looking at. I can try it for a month or two, and if it works, great, and if not, then no harm, no foul.
Right.
And there are a dozen of these things out there that incent you to take advantage. And maybe to your point about Amazon, if I need something and I know that I'm going to get free shipping on it, or I'm going to get a discount or something, that's going to be my first stop. And so here, if I'm interested in something, I know we just recently talked about Devon Think, which is not a good example because that's a free book. But we talked about a number of things. If I have an interest in that, then my first stop should be Take Control, because I've already got a discount on it, plus the fact that I know it's a quality product. So, and if it sounds like I'm shilling for you, I'm not. I guess I'm trying to point out to folks that, if you want these resources and assets, you're going to have to pay for them. They just otherwise they go away. But there's nothing wrong with what you're trying to do here. And even if raising prices becomes a necessity. I mean, I can't think of much of anything that hasn't gone up in the past couple of years. It just doesn't, it's just the
Yeah.
world we live in. We're stuck with it.
Yeah, you sounded slightly ominous there with the or it could go away. But honestly, um, I lose sleep over that, right? Because like, I mean, look at the world we live in. People are much less inclined to learn things about their technology by reading books than they were 10 or 15 years ago. Most people, most of the time, and this has something to do with, age and demographics and whatever, but most people are like, I'll just do a web search, or I'll watch a YouTube video, or I'll just ask my favorite AI. And you may or may not waste your time. You may or may not get accurate answers, but psychologically that might feel better to you than like, oh, well, I have to pay money and then I have to read this whole thing. Oh, just ask an AI to summarize it for me. Like, so look, there's a generation thing and whatever, but we as a company and we as individual authors put our heart and soul and lots of time and research and testing into figuring out exactly the best ways to explain to you to do things, because this is our livelihood. We're not doing this to get rich, but we're also, we don't have, like, at least okay, some of our authors have day jobs, but I don't. Glenn doesn't. So this is my source of income. This is it. So I certainly would like to continue to be able to pay my bills. And as I look at the state of the world and I look into the future, I'm like, I wonder how long this is gonna like. How can I keep this up until I retire? Will I ever retire? Because right now that doesn't look super likely. So the story that I tell customers should not be, you should buy this thing, you should buy more of our books, or you should buy, Take Control Premium to help me stay in business. Like, you should. Like, I would like that very much. I would appreciate that immensely if people would say, you know what, I could have paid 30% less for this, but I'm going to pay full price because I want for Joe to stay in business. I want for Glenn or whichever of our other authors to be able to keep paying their bills. This is something I do personally. When I go to a restaurant or wherever, I give a higher tip than is morally or ethically or legally required, because I know that these people live off of tips. They are not, they're trying to pay their bills too. I'm like, this is something I can do. I can pitch in a few extra dollars. So I would love it if people thought that way. But the last thing I ever want to do is guilt someone into making a purchase. You, from the perspective of a customer, should buy a thing because it helps you. Now, ideally, it would help both of us, right? So it helps you because you're solving problems, and helps me because I get to eat. So that's what I would prefer. I would of course be incredibly grateful if people just out of the goodness of their hearts bought things to help me out. But I'm really not gonna ask you to do that because that feels just ethically yucky to me. So,
Joe, anybody that's listening to you, you want to earn their trust. You want to earn the sale. You want to deliver a product in exchange for the purchase price.
Yeah,
it really does boil down to that. We can talk psychology and all that stuff and marketing, but at the end of the day, that's what we're talking about here. Is if you have a choice to make, and you find Take Control a better value or more attuned to you, then go for it. And this gives you a chance to not just support the Take Control book system, but also the authors, and get a great value back.
Yeah. Well,
It
we
seems
hope
like,
so.
yeah, seems like a no-brainer to
And
me.
you also mentioned raising prices, which, when Take Control books started in 2003, we had very, very short books. They were like, the length of a magazine or whatever, and they were $5. And then as our books started getting longer and longer and longer, maybe they're not 50 pages, maybe they're 100 pages, we're like, well, boy, we put a lot more work into this. Maybe some of our books should be $9.99 and not $4.99. And then as they got longer and longer still, we're like, well, we really can't sell. We're not gonna recoup our investment of time by selling a 200-page book for $10. So maybe that book needs to be $15. And then we had a couple of books that started getting into the like 250, 300-page range. And I don't remember exactly when it happened or what the cutoff was, but the decision was made before my time to price a couple of books at $20. And at that point, our customers really started to rebel. They're like, no, I don't care how long it is, how much work anybody put into it. An ebook, I'm not going to pay $20 for an ebook. And we heard that message. So I lowered those prices. I said, okay, from now on, the cap is $14.99. Nothing is going to be more expensive than that. We'll have things that are cheaper than that. We won't have anything more expensive than that, no matter how long it is. And that has actually, it's been hard for us because some of these topics we have a lot to say about, and we can't cover it in 150 pages or whatever. But we're still only, however long the book is, $14.99. I've never raised our prices since I've taken over, and we haven't, other than those like couple of $20 books for a little while, we haven't raised our prices past $14.99, ever. So that was those years and years and years ago. And that's because in the ebook industry, there's this perception that I'm not buying a hunk of a dead tree. Like you have no physical costs, so things should be really, really cheap, which it doesn't work that way because we still have to pay for, the time of the people that wrote the books and the editing and the overhead and all these things. But there's this perception out there that books shouldn't be any more expensive than this. And Amazon tries really, 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 really hard to get people to only sell books for, $9.99 or less. And that's just not compatible with, making a living doing this. So I would hate to raise prices. That would be absolutely a last resort for me. And even as a last resort, I think it would probably backfire and a lot of people would really hate it. So I'll do it if I feel like I have no choice, but I would really, really, really rather not. I would really like to work with you to find ways that you can save money and we can still earn money.
I think you're doing a lot. You're asking people for feedback. You're acting on the feedback. You're trying to figure out ways to satisfy them and satisfy your needs as well. I don't think if anybody thinks that their apologies are necessary here, look out your window, people. It's a crazy world out there. And I can't help but comment on one other thing you said, Joe, about the topics you're covering and the need for the books to get longer. If you want the value in the books, sometimes it has to be longer. There's right now there's a lot of cancel culture discussion going on, but there's also this summarization culture that I can learn everything I need to know in 3 sentences. And it's like, no, you can't. You need to dig in. If you're going to be informed and if you're going to do things that you want to do with some of the programs and the topics that Joe and the team cover, man, you've got to have somebody that's taken the slings and arrows for you and have documented it so that you don't have to suffer through that. So
that's right. We suffer so you don't have to.
Yeah, that's not exactly a new Take Control motto, but it could be.
Yeah.
So
that's where we stand. I hope you like it. I hope a lot of people buy it and save a lot of money, and I hope that we continue being able to eat. And if you want to learn more about it, go to takecontrolbooks.com/team. TC-premium. But even if you don't remember that exact like whole URL, just like go to takecontrolbooks.com and look there, you'll see it. But again, there's just like an information page. If you want to actually buy it, you go to some book page and you say, I'm going to click the other add to cart button, the one that includes premium. So I hope you'll consider it.
Perfect. Joe, I look forward to our next conversation about the next book, as always. But in the meantime, congratulations on launching this and trying to give more value out there for people to take more advantage of Take Control Books.
Thank you.
See you soon. Folks, I'm Chuck Joyner. This is Mac Voices. I'm not sure how you're going to react to this because I sound like I'm advocating for what Joe's doing, and that's because I am. I think it's important because I don't want to see not just Take Control Books, but there's so many things out there that have already gone away because they weren't properly supported, that they just could not make it work and had to close their doors. And Take Control Books is something I've supported and believed in for a long time. I want it around for a long time to come. Until the next time, and as always, thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with Mac Voices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you Mac Voices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CashFly at cashfly.com.